If your child has been taken or withheld from you by the other parent and you're feeling helpless, scared, or unsure of what to do next, you're not alone. In today's video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about getting a recovery order in Australia. What it is, how to apply for it, what the court looks for, what happens after the child is returned, and most importantly, how you can act decisively and fast. So stick with me, and this information could save you from weeks or even months of distress. My name is Hayder Shakara. I'm a lawyer and I break down legal principles in a simple and easy way for people to understand. So, recovery order. Let's start with the basics. A recovery order is a legal order made by the Federal Circuit and Family Court of Australia. It authorises police officers to locate and return your child to you when they've been taken without your consent. A lot of people are of the belief that they can go to the police station and ask the police to recover their children for them. The police are not going to act unless they've received an order from the court. And that applies even if you do have parenting orders in place. A recovery order can also include provisions to stop the other parent from taking the child again or interfering with your time moving forward. Now, who can actually apply for a recovery order? If you're a parent, then you can apply for it. If you're a person with parental responsibility or has been looking after the child, if you're a grandparent, or anyone really that's concerned with the child's care, the bracket is quite open. So if you are concerned for a child, then you may be eligible to file for an application. So it always helps having a case study and an example to understand how these matters work. We had a client, let's call her Michelle, and Michelle had full-time care of her daughter and the father had supervised time every second weekend. And after a visit, the father didn't return the child. He told Michelle he was going to keep her for good by way of text message, and she was completely distressed. We helped her file an urgent recovery order application. Court heard the matter within 48 hours and granted the order. Thankfully, we didn't need to get the AFP involved because the father, after getting summoned to court and having those orders put in place, understood that he needed to give up the child and deliver the child back to the care of the mother. That's the power of a recovery order, but you have to move quickly and know and understand the process. So right now you might be thinking, what happens if we never had any court orders in place? And that gets a little bit trickier because we need to then establish what the status quo is for the child. Were there any agreements or informal agreements? Is the situation unsafe for the child? Is there going to be a large disruption to the child's normal care or upbringing? And all of those things need to be considered probably by a professional to understand whether or not it's worth applying for a recovery order on an urgent basis. So how do you actually apply for a recovery order? Here's a step-by-step understanding as to how to file for a recovery order in the family court. The first thing you need to do is file an initiating application with the family court. And with that, if you do have any parenting orders in place, you'll need to attach a copy with that. Along with the initiating application, you'll need to provide a detailed affidavit, which is a sworn statement from yourself explaining what happened when the child was taken, why the other party is in breach of any arrangement or in orders, any attempts you've made to try and contact them or to try and resolve the situation, and any concerns that you have about the child's well-being or safety. Now just remember, the affidavit is your most important piece of evidence. It is absolutely critical. It needs to be clear, it needs to be factual, and it needs to state exactly what has happened in a chronological sequence so the person reading it understands the full story. And this is important because the court doesn't automatically approve recovery orders. They look at what's in the best interest of the child and they read the affidavit in order to figure out if what they're going to be doing is going to be in the best interest of the child. And the number one priority for the court is to ensure that there is no risk or harm to the child. So if there is any evidence of family violence, drug use, instability, if the child is potentially going to be exposed to danger or emotional harm, then the court will be extremely concerned and want to ensure that the child is in a safe environment. So even if you're angry or upset, the focus is always what's safest and healthiest for the child, not just what's fair for the parent or what feels fair. Before we wrap up, here are a few quick tips if you're applying for a recovery order in Australia. Act quickly. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to get the orders. If you've waited months in order to get an order to return a child to another location, you have to think. The court needs to then disrupt this child's life, not one time because they've moved to another location, but another time after that. And they might be hesitant or reluctant to do so unless there are even more compelling reasons to make that order. So acting quickly and having time on your side is really one of the most important factors when it comes to recovery orders. Be clear in your affidavit. You need to state facts. You can't just provide a whole list of opinions as to why you think the child shouldn't be where they are. You need to state things by way of date, preferably in a chronological order because that's what makes sense. All of the details matter, so make sure you list it out clearly. Provide headings so it's easy to read so that anyone can pick up this document and understand what is going on in your child's life. And finally, think long term. The goal isn't just to bring your child back, it's to ensure that there's a stable and safe parenting arrangement moving forward. Don't retaliate, stay calm, and let the legal process take its course. If your child's been taken, withheld, or not returned after a visit, please know you do have options. We help parents apply for recovery orders every week, and we act fast because we know that every hour matters when your child is involved. If you've got questions, drop them in the comments. I'll reply to as many as I can. And if you need urgent help, please reach out. We're ready to step in. Like this video if it helped, and subscribe for more legal content that's actually easy to understand.